Strange New Worlds makes history at Star Trek's biggest convention. Star Trek Strange New Worlds made history at Star Trek's biggest convention, Creation Entertainment's STLV, Trek to Vegas. Star Trek Strange New Worlds wrapped production of Season 3 in May and debuted a first-look clip of one of the new upcoming episodes at San Diego Comic-Con. While most of Strange New Worlds actors regularly tour on the convention circuit in the United States and internationally, the crew of the Starship Enterprise had never all gathered at the same convention before August 1-4 in Las Vegas. Screen Rant was at STLV, Trek to Vegas, to see the cast of Star Trek Strange New Worlds come together on stage. Due to the size of the cast, Strange New Worlds was broken up into two panels. The first featured Christina Chong, Dan Janot, Melissa Navia, Bruce Horak, Jess Bush, and Babs Olsen-Moken, moderated by Scott Mantz. The second gathered Anson Mount, Rebecca Romijn, Ethan Peck, Celia Rose Gooding, Carol Kane, and Melanie Scrofano, with moderator Ian Spelling. But during the transition between panels, the entire cast of Star Trek Strange New Worlds assembled on stage for a few unforgettable minutes. Check out Carol Kane, who made history by appearing at her first ever convention of any sort, dancing on stage with Celia Rose Gooding, Christina Chong, and Dan Janot. A surprise crossover happened when Star Trek Lower Decks' Jerry O'Connell, Rebecca Romijn's husband, hilariously crashed Star Trek Strange New Worlds party. Why Paul Wesley wasn't with Star Trek Strange New Worlds cast. Paul Wesley, who plays LT James T. Kirk, was the lone Star Trek Strange New Worlds recurring actor who didn't appear with his castmates at their reunion panels on Sunday, August 4. However, Wesley was also at STLV, Trek to Vegas, but his appearance was on Thursday, August 1. Paul appeared in a solo panel hosted by Adam Mallon, where he discussed his career in The Vampire Diaries, Strange New Worlds, and more. Wesley left STLV, Las Vegas, to travel to Paris for the Olympics. Happily, Star Trek Strange New Worlds reunion at STLV Trek to Vegas was as lively and memorable as convention-goers hoped. Each actor was in great spirits and top form, clearly enjoying being back together and telling hilarious tales of filming Strange New Worlds. Of course, Star Trek Strange New Worlds musical episode received a lot of attention. For those who couldn't attend STLV Trek to Vegas, many of Star Trek Strange New Worlds actors will be appearing at several more creation conventions in cities like Dallas, Nashville, and San Francisco before Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 premieres on Paramount Plus in 2025. Strange New Worlds makes history at Star Trek's biggest convention, where Trekkies from all over the galaxy gather to celebrate the franchise's iconic legacy. Star Trek Strange New Worlds recently made history in an extraordinary way. Star Trek conventions have always been a nexus for exploration, imagination, and the kind of storytelling that transcends time and space. However, this year, Strange New Worlds captured a unique moment that will be etched into Trek history as a beacon of creativity, fan engagement, and forward-thinking representation. The convention hall was teeming with excitement and anticipation, but when Strange New Worlds took center stage, the energy reached new heights. This series, a prequel to the original Star Trek, explores the adventures of Captain Christopher Pike, Spock, and Number 1 aboard the USS Enterprise a decade before Captain Kirk's legendary command. While the show has already carved out its place in the Star Trek universe as a love letter to the franchise's past and future, its presence at this year's convention was not just a routine appearance, but a groundbreaking event for several key reasons. A celebration of legacy first and foremost, Strange New Worlds was a living bridge between past and present, capturing the hearts of fans of the original series while introducing a new generation to the core tenets of Star Trek. The show's focus on episodic adventures harkens back to the storytelling style that made the franchise a household name in the 1960s. The convention recognized this connection by featuring panels with actors, writers, and creators from both Strange New Worlds and the original series, celebrating their intertwined narratives. Veteran fans of Star Trek were moved to see the resurrection of characters like Pike, played brilliantly by Anson Mount, and Spock, portrayed by Ethan Peck, who both brought new dimensions to their roles while respecting the rich histories of their characters. During the panel discussions, Mount expressed his deep connection to the role of Pike, sharing how he researched and channeled the gravitas of Jeffrey Hunter, the original Pike, while bringing his own modern sensibilities to the captain's arc. Fans applauded when Mount noted how Strange New Worlds gives Pike a chance to wrestle with his tragic fate, making his journey feel both nostalgic and new. This sense of bridging generations was even more pronounced when Ethan Peck spoke about stepping into Leonard Nimoy's shoes as Spock. Nimoy's portrayal of the iconic Vulcan set the standard for generations, and Peck acknowledged the immense responsibility he feels. But what thrilled fans the most was hearing Peck reflect on how Strange New Worlds allows for a more intimate exploration of Spock's identity, revealing the struggles of his dual heritage in ways that feel resonant in today's diverse world. Innovation in storytelling, the convention also highlighted how Strange New Worlds is reshaping science fiction storytelling in the Star Trek universe. One of the key elements discussed during the panels was the decision to return to a more episodic structure, which many fans consider a welcome departure from the heavily serialized formats seen in Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. By allowing each episode to function as a self-contained story, much like the original series, Strange New Worlds provides a refreshing sense of adventure that evokes the franchise's roots while allowing for rich, character-driven narratives. Co-showrunner Akiva Goldsman took to the stage and emphasized how this structure allowed the writers to experiment with different genres in a way that Star Trek hadn't done in years. One episode could be a hard-hitting moral allegory, while another might dive into romantic comedy or gothic horror. This versatility made Strange New Worlds a true sandbox for creativity, and its success at blending genres reinvigorated the franchise. Fans at the convention were also treated to sneak peeks of upcoming episodes, including a highly anticipated musical episode, something that had never been done in live-action Star Trek. The bold choice to introduce musical storytelling into a sci-fi setting drew gasps from the audience. The cast and crew talked about how this episode pushed their creative boundaries, with actors training vocally for months and composers working to blend futuristic sounds with traditional musical structures. It was a risk, but one that fans at the convention were eager to see. A milestone in representation, perhaps the most significant way Strange New Worlds made history at this convention was its commitment to diversity and representation, reflecting the evolving ethos of Star Trek as a whole. Star Trek has always been a pioneer in representing marginalized voices, and Strange New Worlds takes that mission further by featuring characters and stories that resonate with modern audiences. Fans were deeply moved by the inclusion of LGBTQ+ characters, and it was the first time a trans actor, Jesse James Keitel, had appeared in a leading role on a Star Trek show. During a panel discussion, Keitel spoke about what it meant to be part of this legacy, expressing gratitude for the support from the Star Trek community and excitement at bringing authentic representation to a universe that has always strived to depict an inclusive future. Their presence on stage was met with overwhelming applause, symbolizing a significant step forward not only for the Star Trek franchise, but for genre television at large. Another major moment during the convention came when the cast of Strange New Worlds stood in solidarity with indigenous communities. The show has been praised for casting Native American actor Zan McLarnon in a pivotal role, and during the panel, he spoke about how important it is for indigenous voices to be represented in a series that, at its core, promotes unity and understanding among different cultures and species. It was a powerful reminder of the role Star Trek plays in shaping public consciousness, and the panel ended with a standing ovation,